It's Sunday Night Football, a big matchup. Detroit heads to Philadelphia to face the defending champion Eagles. And with a few good games on the slate this week, ESPN is referring to this one as a battle for NFC supremacy. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. Let's get into our Week 11 game preview. We'll start with the headlines and the injuries. We'll talk about the key matchups, the X factors. I'll tell you what the difference in the game will be, and at the end of the video, I will give my final score and prediction. Let's go.
The second was commit to this running game between the tackles, which has opened up everything else. And Jahmyr Gibbs going for a touchdown. Gibbs takes it all the way.
All right, big stories first. Let's start on the Detroit side. Head coach Dan Campbell has taken over offensive play calling for the Lions. He says it's all about refining rhythm and aggressiveness. Offensive coordinator John Morden responded publicly this week in a very positive fashion. He says, it's not about me, it's about the team. He's really grateful for the organization and says he loves the opportunity to earn himself back the starting role as play caller. Concerns on the injury side for the Lions as tight end Sam Laporta, cornerback Terrion Arnold, and safety Kirby Joseph all have not practiced all week, are considered questionable, but leaning towards out for this matchup with the Eagles. A new injury as cornerback Amik Robertson was considered limited in practice on Thursday. We'll have to continue to monitor his hamstring injury as we get closer to game time. Aiden Hutchinson, although limited in practice earlier in the week, was a full participant Thursday, expected to play, and said the Lions have had this game circled on their calendar for some time and is saying the game with the Eagles is a must-win. The Lions coming off their Week 10 victory in Washington, 44-22, an offensive resurgence. Defense has been playing well, but are looking to get some players back from injury and continue the positive momentum. And on the Philadelphia side, they're sitting at 7-2, coming off the most recent victory on Monday night over the Green Bay Packers. However, their offense has shown signs of stagnation. Wide receiver A.J. Brown has come out publicly and shown frustration with the direction of this Eagles offense. Some of this could be due to health concerns on their offensive line. Right tackle Lane Johnson, center Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Tyler Steen have all been either limited in practice or missed time. On the positive end, only Landon Dickerson has been limited in practice this week. The others have been upgraded to full practice all week. So hopefully things are getting better up front. A better rushing attack should mean good things for this Philadelphia offense. Quarterback Jalen Hurts has come out and acknowledged Detroit as a legitimate threat, stating that they are a team waiting for the opportunity. In this matchup, you have Detroit coming in with motivation and some structural change versus a Eagles team with a strong pedigree but some cracks showing. Now let's get into the key matchups. Detroit Lions heading to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. I think the first one to take a look at is the Philadelphia passing attack against this beat-up Lions secondary. And remember, they're going to be going into it most likely without Terrion Arnold, without DJ Reed. Amik Robertson has been added to the injury report. No Kirby Joseph as well at safety. So they're going to be using depth pieces again to handle the offensive attack for the Eagles. And Jalen Hurts has proven to be an efficient down-the-field passer. Now, with the stagnation of the Eagles' offense, they have at times been able to throw the ball down the field, and the Lions have to try and limit the big plays. They've been pretty good about not allowing the ball to get behind them. They'll have to do so again against Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, with 68.9% right now, is the best completion rate of his career. He has the best TD to interception rate in the league right now and has really developed into a good deep ball passer. So the Lions will have to be on the lookout for this Eagles passing attack. Another key matchup is the Lions defensive front against the Eagles offensive line. We know they've been pretty banged up. Cam Jurgens limited in practice this week. Lions, Aiden Hutchinson leading the team with 7 sacks. And if they're able to get at the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and limit Saquon Barkley, they really can affect this game. They will want to try and force Philadelphia into as many third downs as possible, as the third down efficiency for the Eagles has not been great this season. And the biggest key matchup in Lions versus Eagles is the Lions offensive line versus this Eagles defensive front. We know the Eagles can get after it, and now with the addition of Jalen Phillips, who really added something to this defense on Monday night. They already had guys like Moro Ajomo, Jalen Carter, defensive end Nolan Smith is coming back from his injury, so they really can get after Jared Goff. And if they cannot protect the Lions quarterback, this will really affect the whole operation. We know the Lions can run the football, but truthfully, if the offensive line doesn't get the push like they had in Washington, then it may be a different story against the Eagles. Now let's talk about potential X factors. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but defensively, it all starts and ends with Aiden Hutchinson. And that doesn't mean he has to get a sack against Jalen Hurts, but his pressure rate is through the roof, and it allows other players on this Lions defense to make plays. Offensively, I think it goes back to the Lions' rushing attack. If the offensive line can get after it, then Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery should be able to do their thing. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs has proven that with his speed, it's just a game-changing ability each and every week. And I would lean on him again here. He'll be able to run zone plays and catch passes out of the backfield, which I think will be very effective against this Eagles defense. With Sam Laporta potentially being limited or out of this matchup, it creates a situation where the Sun God has to be the number one target for the Lions. He'll be matched up with premier coverage for this Eagles team, but if he's able to win, the Lions can win. For the Eagles defensively, you got to look at that new addition, Jalen Phillips. He had 7 pressures against the Packers and 2 QB hits, a fumble recovery, and really made an impact in that first week. So I have to imagine as they continue to work him in, he may become more of a weapon. The Lions will have to be on the lookout for where he lines up defensively on Sunday night. Offensively, you got to start with the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Now, he hasn't really scrambled much this season, and the Lions on the other side have been pretty good about containing quarterbacks. So this will all be about the efficiency in the passing game for the Eagles. Can Jalen Hurts get this offense going? And then, of course, you always have to consider Saquon Barkley as a potential X factor. Lions will have to be on the lookout and cannot let him get loose on this defense. Wide receiver A.J. Brown, it seems like anytime he makes some noise, the Eagles seem to make a concerted effort to try and get him the football. Because of that, I think that might be the case against the Lions. And with this depleted secondary, he will have plenty of opportunities to make plays. The difference in this Week 11 game, Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles, all comes down to the offensive lines. Which team is able to establish the line of scrimmage and protect the quarterback? Can the Eagles get after Jared Goff, the interior of the Lions offensive line, and cause havoc on this Lions offensive operation? On the other side, can the Lions contain Jalen Hurts, hold down Saquon Barkley, and limit the big plays with this banged-up secondary? Whichever team's offensive line is able to hold up better will win this game on Sunday night. So here's how I see it. A fantastic Sunday night football matchup and a great test for this Lions offense and the offensive line. Dan Campbell taking over the play calling shows an organizational willingness to make a change, saying it wasn't good enough. What they were putting out before Week 10 was not a Super Bowl winning formula on offense. But this is a different animal. It's not the Washington Commanders. It's the defending champions, and they have a very aggressive, very talented defensive front. They're going to have to protect Jared Goff to be successful. But if the Eagles are able to make an impact and get through the interior of this offensive line, it could be a game changer. For Philadelphia offensively, they need to be able to sustain drives. If they're able to be better on third downs and get themselves into the red zone, they have a great opportunity to score points and keep up with the Lions. But Dan Campbell is the greatest motivator in football. And I think that change, he's got the players behind him, this whole organization behind him, even the former offensive coordinator, who's still the offensive coordinator, John Morton, he's motivated. So I just see this Lions team going into Philadelphia and pulling out a nail-biter. I have the final score, Lions 28, Philadelphia 26. Lions would go to 7-3 on the season. Eagles would drop to 7-3.
He gets 41 there, the longest play of the game on either side. Shoulder, pump fake, end zone. It is caught for the touchdown.
That's going to do it for my Week 11 game preview. Who do you have in this huge Sunday Night Football matchup, Lions or Eagles? Let me know your final score predictions in the comments below. I appreciate you sticking around for another video. Make sure to slap the like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gas Sports. I'd love it if you consider becoming a subscriber, and if you hit the notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. There's a membership option available where I do a ton of fun stuff, but there's always free content at Johnny Gas Sports on any one of your socials. More than anything else, make sure to take care of yourself and that mental health. That's so important. I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy week 11. Go Lions.